let me take you to the next question. Now, since 2015, I mean, I was just checking details. You know it far better than anyone else. India's diplomatic and economic exchanges increased manifold with in the Middle East. This is most true for UAE, Oman, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, and Israel. Some of them, like Jordan and Israel, have seen the Indian president going there for the first time. I mean, we later realized that this is exactly the corridor on which IMSC was proposed last year. That would go through the Gulf of Aden. Avoid the Gulf of Aden and take the Gulf of Oman. Now, question is, at this moment, this connecting Europe through Israel, all this looks a little distant dream at this very moment. But how do you see the possibility of UAE and Saudi Arabia part is connected? UAE though is a shipping, you are connecting Bombay, taking goods from Bombay to UAE by ship, and then it was supposed to move by rail to Saudi Arabia. So how do you see that happening, and how should it help? How crucial is that for India, considering the issues in the on the other route, Gulf of Aden, where there are pirates. Then you have Djibouti, where Chinese are stationed. Over to you, sir.
Well, let me first say that there has been historical connectivity between the Gulf and India, as we all for many, many long years, because, of course, they were under the British, and there's a history of how the South family came to power, etc., under the patronage of the British and the Western. Then oil was discovered and the whole scene changed. Now, Indians have been working there for many years. There are almost 9-10 million Indians. Our trade with Saudi Arabia and UAE and the other Gulf countries has gone up. India imports almost 20% of its energy requirements, fossil fuel, gas, etc., from this region. So as a region, it is very important for our energy security, for our trade, for our economic and other issues. These countries have a lot of sovereign funds which they have created, and they are investing in India. A lot of them are investing in India. So ultimately, the economic economic route has gained prominence because Dubai and Saudi Arabia are important, and Qatar is an important player because of gas, and the other countries as well. So what we are seeing is that they are also looking at our region and saying that, look, if India is progressing well and is today the 5th largest economic power, they have also come out of that old shell of Islamic Brotherhood and things like that. They are looking at their own interest as well, economic. And when they look at South Asia or the subcontinent,
I mean,
they find it.
Sorry to interrupt. We have seen the Saudi Crown Prince coming to India just after Pulwama, and in the joint statement, he condemned the Pulwama attack.
Absolutely. So they have come out because they are themselves also worried about it, and so they understood that what Pakistan was doing was destabilizing everything. Even their relationship with India. And Pakistan thought that even by continuing with its terrorist activities, it will get support from these countries, without question. That paradigm has broken down. And Pakistan does not get that support because they also understand that what Pakistan was doing was not good and was destabilizing. And they also understood that our economic interests are better pursued with India, because Pakistan has nothing to offer. So that was the basic, policy change that happened. Then, of course, from our side, there was a lot of activity. Prime Minister Modi went to that region. He was the first prime minister going after 34 years. Can you imagine?
Right.
So we can say that, there was a bit of a neglect or, taken for granted attitude in India among policymakers or among governments. So Prime Minister Modi really sort of took a different view of the region and went there. And then, of course, many ministers, presidents have toured the region because we do have a lot invested in that region. They are, I think, they are probably the second or third largest trading partner, the Gulf people, the Gulf countries. And then Jordan is an important player because it is neighbor of Israel. Then we import a lot of phosphates and other things which are very, very important for our fertilizer industry. And you know, fertilizer is so important for our agriculture. So anyway, those are all the things that are there. And that is why there was this renewed effort to reach out to all these countries. And that has paid dividends. One more thing I would say before I conclude on this point is that India has managed its foreign policy in the region remarkably well. And why? You may ask why. Because we have good relations with everybody. You know, there are people who think that if you have good relations with Israel, you can't have good relations with Iran or somebody. But that's not the case with India. India has good relations with Iran. India has good relations with the Arab countries. India has good relations with Israel also. So I think India has played a certain balance, not balancing, but a moderating role there. And India, therefore, has the ability and the capacity to reach out to all these.
Right. So trade and economic relations have been increasing manifold, undoubtedly. You know, over the last 5 years or so, we have seen number of countries. I think Saudi, Oman, and etc. The Israel. The trade has almost doubled, and insofar as the UAE is concerned, it's huge. And today it is a huge export destination. And the first item is mobile phones, smartphones. So it is no more merely from the Indian perspective, it is no more simply an energy import destination. It has gone much beyond that, and that is exactly what Saudi and UAE are also trying. They are developing themselves no more as oil sellers. So that being so, how do you see the, this is about the economic part, and India is taking a lot of attention to that. I just have a question that how do you see what will be the role of Middle East and how do you see it evolving over the next 5 years? And what would be the role of Middle East in fulfilling India's global ambitions? So we all know India is aiming for a seat in UN Security Council and all those things. India has a global ambition and it wants to achieve it fast. So how do you see that?
Well, that's why the region has been, what shall I say, given special focus by the current government. And because all the reasons that you just mentioned are all part of that growing connectivity, etc., are all part of the overall plan to embrace the region because it is important for us. Our people work there. We get 40% of our remittance from there, external remittance, foreign exchange remittance. So these are very important things for the Indian economy. And hence, we have put extra emphasis on developing ties with these countries. These countries, as I mentioned, have also come out of that old mindset. And they also realize that their dependence on oil, once the world is now moving away from oil, that is for sure. Climate change and other reasons, and people are moving into renewables. They do realize that depending on oil cannot be a very long-term strategy. So they have to develop industries, they have to develop a base, or they have to collaborate with other large economies to create industries, etc., and to ensure their future, which could be less oil-based, because that dependency on oil, they are also concerned. I mean, they also believe that this cannot last forever, and hence the policymakers in these countries have expanded. They've gone into trade, they've gone into all kinds of things, giving facilities for foreign companies to come and work out of Dubai. Dubai is full of foreign companies. They are working there because they find it easy, there's less tax, and then Dubai functions mainly as an entrepot, so almost like Singapore, actually, in many ways. Our trade with Dubai is huge, I think almost 100 billion. But I don't think that $100 billion is only meant for Dubai.
No.
I think it goes on from Dubai to various other countries, including Pakistan,
Exactly.
of which I have personal experience when I was the Consul General in Karachi. Pakistani businessmen would buy things from India and route it via Dubai, and so there is a trade. So to say that trade has stopped within India and Pakistan is not correct. It goes on through Dubai, and so that is one thing that Dubai also serves a purpose, because the businessmen who have been trading with Pakistan, they say, okay. I mean, of course, for Pakistan, they pay more because it is coming via Dubai. And that is one of the arguments that Pakistani businessmen always will tell you, that we have to pay more for Indian goods because it comes from Dubai, cheaper to do it direct.
Yes.